Before we officially open the meeting, we have some presentations that our emergency management, emergency EMS is wanting to award. So Ronnie, if you want to come up and take the podium and tell us what we've got.
Thank y'all. Good evening, everyone. Most of the time when y'all see me up here, we're celebrating a save, and this is a save also. It's a little bit different than we normally do. We have a family with us tonight, and a young lady here that 34 years old, and she suffered a pretty significant, a real significant heart attack last year. And our crews were able to get in there and realize what was going on and get her to where she needed to be and get her the help that she needed. And she's doing great today. She's here with us tonight along with her family, her husband, Miss Jackie. I think everybody probably knows Miss Jackie. But they're going to come up and he's going to tell you the story of what happened, and then our paramedic and EMT that went out on the call that night, they're here also to help us celebrate. They called us just a few days ago and wanted to do something to honor them, so thought this might be a good way to celebrate this and to honor the ones that came out and helped her. So I'm going to ask the Baker family, Miss Jackie, whoever over that way that wants to come up, just to come on up. And then I'm going to ask the EMTs, paramedic, and Scott Queen and Courtney Huff to come up with them. I'll let you stand over here, and y'all can just stand.
I probably don't need a microphone. I'm a teacher and a coach, so I got a pretty loud voice anyway. I actually, a year ago, was dealing with spring football, and so got done with work one day, came home, and got home, and kids were out in the yard, and they were playing, and I'm walking through the house, and I'm like, where's Rachel? Couldn't find her anywhere. Finally went to the bathroom, and she was in the shower sitting on the floor holding her chest. And really just in chest pain and shock. She didn't really know what was going on. And I told her, hey, let's just lay down for a minute. Come on out here. So she got in bed and lay down, still having chest pain. And I was like, I think I need to call 911. And she's like, no, I don't do that. Chest pain, I think they want you to call 911. So I called 911, and sure enough, we have a Walton County Fire Department building probably less than a mile down the road. So literally before I got off the phone, I already heard the siren coming. So that was a fortunate blessing to have. But as soon as they got there, they probably were in my same boat where 34-year-old woman complaining with chest pain, and they're like, you okay? You got a little bit of just hyperventilating. So, but anyway, she's sitting on the couch, and they hooked her up to the ECG. And as soon as that report came out, I saw the demeanor change. She was like, "Oh, no get the stretcher. We gotta go." And so they were quick, got the stretcher, got her strapped in, and right out the door, and right in the back of the ambulance, and was flying down the road to the hospital. So, and not only that, they followed. They stayed in the room, and were sharing the results of the ECG with the doctors. And the doctors were also, she's 34, she's really having a heart attack. Well, and he was showing me like, hey, something's wrong here. So there's a couple more ECGs, and they're still abnormal results. And so they finally called the cardiologist in that was on call that night. And by the time he got there, she was heading into the cath lab. So and what they found in that is she had a sudden arterial dissection, which is spontaneous arterial dissection, which is a tear in the inside of the artery, and it blocks the blood flow. So I kind of equate it like a trash bag covering and stopping the airflow coming into the radiator. So it just flattened down and stopped the blood flow. So they were able to get 2 stents in. Everything was a little bit better at that point. She did lose, I think it was from 60 to 40% ejection fraction. So there was some heart damage. But luckily 6 months later when they did the echocardiogram, it was back to 60%. And she's been doing better since. And so I can't thank them enough, Mr. Queen, Mr. Queen, for what you did. And I mean, I'm blessed to be able to still have my life.
Ronnie, would you repeat the names of our EMTs so I could?
This is Rachel here, her husband Michael, Jackie, and these are Scott Quinn. This is Scott Quinn, the paramedic, and Courtney Huff, the EMT.
Thank you.
You know, it's bad enough to have a heart attack, but it's even worse to have one nobody believes you're having one, sounds like. But they hung in there, and they knew once they got all the information they needed to have, they knew that something serious was going on. This particular type of heart attack that Rachel had is more common among women than it is men. And the scary thing about it is it's sudden, comes on suddenly, and it has like a 70% mortality rate. So it's a miracle that she's standing here tonight with us, and we just had a little part in that. It's the grace of God that made that difference, and so we're glad that they come. I'm gonna give this our EMTs a certificate here, and y'all want to come around in front and we'll give a picture too. But this is our award that we give out for people when they make a difference in this thing. Made a difference in this state, in this patient's life, and it's Courtney Cuff and Scott, and we appreciate them and all that they do.
The only thing I like to add is that it wasn't us, it was God, but the people at the right place at the right time. And God has a purpose for you. And
Y'all come on this way, I can't reach you.
This everything work.
1, 2, 3. Got it, thank you.
I'll stand back up. That was very nice, Ronnie. Thank you so much.
You start getting about my age, you really do appreciate the EMS a whole lot more.
Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, please give us the wisdom tonight to make the right decisions for the county. And thank you so much for all our EMTs and all the hard work they do to help the people in Walton County and abroad. Watch over us tonight and keep us all safe as we leave and go home. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So, okay, I'll call our meeting to order and let the roll call show that all the commissioners are present. You've had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions? If not, I entertain a motion to adopt our agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimous. We'll go on to proclamations. We've been asked to make this month National Donate Life Month proclamation. And what this is about is signing up to donate your organs in case you're in a bad accident or whatever. It saves thousands of lives across our country. And we're going to entertain a motion to adopt it as Donate Life Month on behalf of Walton County Board of Commissioners. And if you haven't, when you renew your license, it's very easy to do. You can donate your organs if you're in a fatal accident or something, and it could save another life somewhere else. So entertain a motion to adopt this proclamation.
So moved.
We got a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. We have nothing from zoning. That's wonderful. We have the administrative consent agenda, and there's several items on here, and I hope you've had a chance to read and review. A big one on here is an operating agreement number 5-4 with Civic Media Group, and I think they have some representation here. I've read the contract, I've looked at the proposal, and what this involves is getting signage at our parks and rec locations, which will be electronic signage, which can promote events and also advertise and generate revenue. And they propose to provide the sign at their cost and revenue share with the county to get the locations. And I just would make the recommendation, if everyone's in agreement with this, that subject to our county attorney's review, any contract and his remarks on it. Does anyone have any?
We've been reviewing that contract, and we're definitely going to have some comments that we'll work through their legal team with on, and I don't anticipate any ultimate problems, but we will want to make some changes, I'm sure.
You always critique it and earn your pay, counsel. But are there any questions, since they have some representatives here?
I have two questions, Mr. Chairman.
All right, if y'all would like to come up to the podium, and we've got some questions from the commissioners, and maybe y'all can answer them. I have it.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you, sir.
All right, Commissioner.
So the first question involves the cost of the signs. I don't understand what the value of the signs is. Is it 75,000 or 750?
So we propose a design which is subject to the county's approval.
we give you an idea of what we would like to put up. Obviously, they're going to be your signs, so you get to pick the approval. We're guesstimating right now. This was part of the conversation I had with the attorney earlier. We will nail those costs down. If you look on the back page of that paper, the folder we gave you, so I have two companies. By the way, Matt Schultz, Civic Media. Yeah, each.
So $750,000 is the cost of the sign. That's your cost.
We're all for, this is this is at cost. So I have two companies, Civic Media, I have another company that builds scoreboards, signs, marquees for college and pro stadiums. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking everything I've learned from 20 years and I'm bringing it in at a cost factor. So if you were to go build this, it would be much higher than what it actually is going to be. And we're going to show costs and get quotes and prove costs. So when we go into this, we will have a cost of what we know everything's going to cost. Right now, this is just a guesstimate.
So what's the revenue split? Is it a 50-50 split, or what's the
50-50
split?
Correct, 50-50.
And that's for the life of the signs, or for the life of the, what is
Well,
the agreement?
For the contract's 20 years, isn't
We
it?
do 20 years for a reason, because the digital signs have about a 10-year shelf life. So we're going to have to replace them one more time. And then after the 20 years, you can say, we want you to stay, or we want you to go. But if we stay, we pay for the digitals again. And then at the end of the first 10 years, when we replace the digitals again, we go back to the same capital cost where we recur it back over 10 years. But it'll be much less this time because the structure's there, the brick is there, your logos are there. We're just replacing the screens. We've already put the concrete in the ground. So the cost, the second 10 years will be probably 50-60% less than they will be in the beginning. But the revenue is the same. I mean, the revenue will rise, costs will drop, okay, but the revenue split will be 50-50.
What about maintenance? You guys maintain
We
it?
cover every maintenance. There's everything that, any part of maintenance that comes, the cost comes out of the revenue. At no time will the cost, you have to pay for anything on the signs. If we don't do our jobs, then y'all just get free use, you get more flips on the signs. We've done this in Morgan County, been very successful. I do this in universities around the southeast, same business model, the same concept. It's been successful every place we've done it. I live in Morgan County. I wanted to get some closer to home, so it seems like a good fit.
And what kind of price points are you looking at as far as advertising? Are they reasonable that small business can afford, or are these going to be larger businesses?
No, so the goal is the only people will be on the sign will be residents and business owners in the county. We have no desire to go outside the county to bring business in. We've done that in Morgan County. We have one person who has a car dealership in Athens, but he lives in Morgan County. Everybody else in Morgan County, and we're going to follow that same model. So it's going to be anywhere between, you're going to have some parks that are worth more than others, okay? The new park is going to be one that the revenue is going to be higher. So the higher the revenue. So we're anticipating somewhere between $700 and maybe $900 a month to be a sponsor on the sign. Nothing outrageous, but enough that it's worth the push for the county to have signage there.
Will these signs dim as the?
They do. They absolutely dim at night. They have automatic dimmers on them that come down. Also, we have a content manager that manages the sign. Whoever does the creative and marketing for the county will have direct access to the county. We have webcams on the sign that you will always see what's on the county. If there's ever an emergency, any type of emergency in the county, Amber Alert, everything comes off the sign. The police department takes over until that emergency is gone. We have that written in our sponsorship agreement with the advertisers that if anything happens, tornado warning, Amber Alert, anything you can think of, everything comes off and the county takes completely control of the signs.
The restrictions and stuff.
Yes.
Please add alcohol as a restriction, no
Okay.
advertising of alcohol or vaping products.
Yep.
You
You might wanna put-
got tobacco and political
You might want to put marijuana in there too.
and
because
adult.
Probably is going to be
but,
nowadays, because it is a 20-year agreement, so anything you can think. I tell people all the time, we have restrictions for a reason. No political, no religious. And we do political because
As you know, politicians come and go,
Well,
and we do that for a reason. to
that's a
protect
good rule.
it is. And then no adult themed. I tell everybody, if I can't drive my 3 granddaughters in front of the sign and be proud of what's on it, then I can't put it up. That's kind of my litmus test of what goes on the sign. So we're very restrictive on the content that goes on it.
And just have the ability to add if some other vice comes around that we don't need to be advertising.
Right.
Over 20 years, we don't know what to come up, but have it a little flexible in that language.
You
Right.
could put something that you can have the right to refuse anything.
Exactly. So like a recurring last right of refusal based off the county's.
Yeah, it would
what they
be,
deem
it would be
appropriate.
something like unreasonably denied, so we'd have to have good reason, but I'm not worried about that clause because we would never put something up there. We're here to promote the parks and bring sponsorship revenue into the parks. And when we bring a business onto the park property, it's a reputable business.
Well, it should generate some fairly good income because you're willing to invest that amount of money on
It is.
half of the income. Any other questions from the board?
Well, for like county events and different things, I guess we'll be allowed to advertise at no
You-
charge?
You have flips on every face and everything that's unsold.
Okay.
But to stay in regulation with GDOT, it has to be a county sign. So you will always be on every flip every minute. And then the national average is about 80% occupancy on these type of signs. So there's always going to be 1 or 2 flips available. You always get one, but there's always going to be 2, maybe 3 available on every flip. So and I work with Morgan County, I work with their marketing director. We're marketing stuff 3 and 4 months out to prepare people for it. And you'd be surprised how many people say, I don't do Facebook anymore, and I don't know when sign up is. Now I know.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, any of the other items on the administrative consent agenda that there are some questions?
Chairman, I just wanted to point out on 5.5, that's an IGA with City of Monroe, the natural gas delivery service. They prepared the initial draft, we marked it up, they accepted all of our changes, so that agreement is ready to go from a legal standpoint.
Okay. Any on the others? The City of Loganville is going to use West Walton Park for their fireworks display. I assume they've been doing it, and this is,
Every year, that's an agreement that's been on for the last several years.
okay.
And all they're doing is changing the dates and things like that. That agreement's embedded in the past.
All right, if there's no more questions on it, I'll make the motion to approve them, subject to 5.4 being reviewed and marked up by the county attorney.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimous. Thank y'all. All right, it's time for the presentation of the budget. Jennifer, you're up.
Meeting.
All right, as y'all know and stuff, we've used ClearGovs, and if you go to the Walton County page under Department, under Finance, you can click on the link and it's listed on there. I'll try to see if I can pull it. Let's see. I guess, John, can you help me pull it up so we ain't here all day? I guess while he's getting that pulled up and stuff, just to go over some of the highlights and stuff, this year and stuff for FY25, we have, we'll be adding 13 full-time positions to the county. And then we had some capital equipment and vehicle requests that was made through our various departments. You have the corner. Okay. was trying to get to the county website page to pull up the budget.
It's hanging up.
It's not.
I have it.
Okay, so here's the proposed FY25 budget. And like I said, if you go through the county, it's not showing. There it is. Okay. So you see, it's got the various tabs, and you got the introduction, fund summary. It'll break out our different funds, and as you click on each one of them, it'll go through, and it gives, it gives a summary of the information, and then we have the revenue, and then it breaks it down through the, there it is. And it shows the information from prior years' budget information that's on here as well. And this shows, under the fund summary, it breaks down each fund that we do have, that the county has. And then we have our funding source, where you can go through the various different items on here to look up the information. And then under departments, it lists each of our individual departments that that we have, and it breaks it down, and it shows the more detailed information up underneath each one of these departments on there. Now, for our major capital projects that we have that's in the budget going on, we've got the public safety complex, and of course the water treatment plant and the Grove, which we've started on those. And that's all.
For the public's information, this is online. This proposed budget is
Yes, sir.
available to everyone.
Yes.
It's very detailed. There's a approximately 10% increase over last year in this budget over the previous one. There's 13 new full-time positions being added. The expenditures are a combination of federal grants, SPLOST receipts, property taxes, and proceeds from revenue bonds and fund balances. Proposed millage is the same as the previous year. And the fire district millage goes up a .265 of a mil, trying to get the fire district tax to take care of the fire department. And let me make a observation to this board is the SPLOST is up for renewal. This budget includes a anticipation of it being renewed. If it is not renewed, we're going to have emergency meeting and amend this budget. We have obligations out there for the public safety complex, the Grove Park, and other obligations that have been bonded, and those payments have got to be paid, and we will have to adjust the mill rate to reflect that if hopefully it will, but that is a fact. So, but this is out here for everyone to review. We'll have a public hearing on this budget. Election Day, May 21st at 5 o'clock, here in this courtroom to answer any questions that the public will have.
Chairman, the budget contains $9.3 million in proposed SPLOST spending. And there's two options. It be paid for by sales tax or property tax. But those are capital improvements to purchase public safety vehicles and equipment, the equipment that maintains our roads, road maintenance, as well as capital improvements to maintain buildings. Hammond Drive facility is going to have some improvements that are needed out there. There's some roof improvements here, but it totals up to about $9.3 million in sales tax, which is a little over 10% of the budget.
And we will collect, if this budget goes from June 1st.
July 1st.
July 1st,
Yes,
excuse me, to the end of June of next year. So we'll collect about half of that this first year.
Yeah, we'll still collect from July to December.
Right. So just for conversation, this is a presentation of the budget. Give people 2 weeks to review, and then we'll have a public hearing here, 5 o'clock, May 21st.
Yes.
And it's out there, and everyone can look at it and come make comments.
Yeah, I got the
You
other.
got that part on the wait, okay.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Jennifer right now?
I got one question.
All right.
Can we get a list of the 13 additional positions being added to the budget?
Yes, I'll get that information. I'll write it and stuff. I had brought everything that had everybody listed on here, and so give me just a few minutes and stuff, and I can divvy out the full-time, because we did have some temps, but they don't get benefits, and so I'll do a list right quick of the full-time positions for you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions right now of Jennifer? Thank you, Jennifer. All right, you may need to stay up here for Hank.
I'm gonna cover this.
You're going to handle the Project Link. As a shooting wall we need to do for safety effects at the sheriff's shooting range.
Your 6.2 agenda item is a project length budget. It's basically a protective wall between the firing range and the structure that's out at the firing range. This will increase safety and, I believe, decrease liability. We still have the shooting range open to the public. They're there with sheriff's deputies that are trained to teach firearms, and this was identified as a necessary mean due to some recent activity that I believe will end up benefiting the county greatly just by adding additional safety protections.
And it's $21,000.
$21,000 is the request.
All right, we need to entertain a motion to.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Was that a motion, Jeremy?
Yes, sir.
And a second.
And Kirkland seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? All right, Human Resources, the MSI benefits.
Ashley's going to come up and present.
Renewal, and we're real happy with this renewal. This is the employees' benefits, health insurance, life insurance, medical coverage, that we've been working on trying to cut down costs for the taxpayers. We're self-insured, Walton County is, and that's a huge liability. And we've done things like forming the clinic for county employees and their families, which is, we wanted to save about $800,000 the first year, and we're already above 2.3 million in savings. Is huge. And with that being said, I think some comments, John and our our MSI representative, and I'm sorry, I forget names.
No worries. So I'm Ashley Gilder.
Ashley.
Yes.
And what we've been able to do this year, we've gone from 573 covered employees to 610, and we've actually been able to lower our stop loss. Before, what were we, 175,000 before the insurance kicked in? And what did we get it lowered to this go round?
So the stop loss is currently 175,000 is your cap, but yes, we did ultimately decrease the health plan renewal by 77,000 overall. So that will be the renewal.
Even after the addition of the new employees.
Right. But overall, your claims are down 1.7 million. So I can go ahead and jump into it.
Go ahead, please. I can confuse people. I just look at the savings.
No worries.
That's what I'm after, is saving taxpayers some money.
Absolutely. So this here is just a quick benefits renewal recap. This just outlines the changes that were made last year, really just to serve as a reference point. So for the health plan, the county did renew with Anthem and Veracity at a 13.4% increase. Minimal plan design changes, but enhancements nonetheless, with no change to employee deductions. So the dental and vision also renewed with Anthem, dental renewing at a 9.9% increase, vision at a 6.2% increase, no change to plan designs, no change to employee deductions. Life and disability, it was secured under rate guarantee last year, also renewing with Anthem, and that is one of the benefits that we will discuss in more detail here in a few slides. So this right here is just the historical health plan spend analysis, and it is outlining the cost. As the chairman said, the county is self-funded, so there's really two main components to your health plan as it stands today. There's the fixed cost piece of it, and then there's the claims portion. So while there are a lot of numbers on this slide, I won't bore you to death and go through each one of these, but if you look at what I have highlighted in yellow, this is indicative of those changes that have been made, like the employee health plan clinic and carving out the pharmacy to Veracity back in 2022. So here we compared the county's actual claims to the maximum claims that the county is liable for under the stop loss contract. So you'll see where in 2020 and 2021, you were running over max. At 82.3%, 80.6% in 2022, at which time it was then decided, to go ahead and open up and roll out that health clinic and then carve out the pharmacy to Veracity. You'll see that in 2023 plan year, we then ran below the maximum claims under the stop loss policy at 74.6, and 2024 is even better, which we do not see often. So currently, claims are at a 68% loss ratio, which is the best they have been in years. So when you look at actual claims and compare them to expected claims, you'll see where, historically, we were well above those numbers, yet in 22-23, again, now running below the expected claims under the contract. In 23-24, we are 1.7 million below expected claims, which is huge, and again, very much indicative of the savings that have been brought about from the health clinic and then carving out that pharmacy. So hats off to the chairman and leadership teams and everyone who made that possible, as it's certainly not only been a huge benefit to employees, but it's also helped the county save money. So moving on to the pharmacy savings, this is just further drilling down into the pharmacy savings and utilization. You'll see where in 21 and 22, prior to carving out that pharmacy and moving to Veracity, the navy blue bar graphs are illustrative of that pharmacy spend, and you'll see where in the comparison period in subsequent years, pharmacy spend has drastically decreased. So this is the result of two primary cost mitigation programs offered by Veracity. The first being the personal importation program, which represents $311,000 plan year to date. And that is the program that allows employees to get their medication free of charge, no cost to them, saves the plan money that they are able to get from Canada. The other program that represents the largest portion of the savings is going to be the Specialty Savings Program, which allows employees to tap into manufacturer assistance programs that are out there to help offset those out-of-pocket costs and ultimately result in employees paying a much discounted price for their prescriptions. So again, plan year to date, we are at $1.8 million in pharmacy savings, on pace to save roughly $2.5 million by year end. So, awesome news there. So with the health plan, we do initiate comprehensive market evaluations each year, really just to ensure that the most competitive pricing and contracts are secured. And as part of the health plan, we do market the stop loss piece of it. We did initiate proposals from all viable options here, with the most competitive option in comparison to Anthem, who currently has the stop loss, being Voya. Now, we ultimately ended up using that quote from Voya to, leverage our negotiations with Anthem, allowing them to, or really resulting in them ultimately bringing down their fixed cost over $225,000. So at the end of the day, Anthem is the most competitive, which we have outlined here on the next slide. So here it just outlines the current components of the health plan in comparison to the renewal. So you see where the administrative related expenses currently sit at $735,000, increasing by 1.6% for the 24-25 plan year. The stop loss premium, which represents really one of the largest portions of it, sits at $1.5 million, and this is the piece where Anthem agreed to lower it by $225,000 in order to essentially retain the business and be more in line with the market. So the stop loss premium is now decreasing. That is fixed cost, it's real dollars, so certainly excited about that. That brings the total fixed cost to an overall decrease of $78,000, or a negative 3.4%. The expected claims are expected to stay ultimately where they are at today, again, performing very well, bringing the total fixed cost and expected claims to an overall decrease of $78,000, or 0.6%. So once we back out employee deductions, which we are proposing stay exactly the same, no changes there again, that brings the total county net annual spend from $11.9 million, really $12 million to $11.9 million. So again, reflective of that $78,000 decrease. And while the current total county net annual spend under the contract per employee per year is sitting at $19,329, again, the plan is actually performing much better than that. So currently, on average per employee per year, the county is paying $16,749 per employee. Slide 7 here is just the employee health plan deductions. This is just reflective of what employees are currently paying today. Again, it's proposed that there are no changes here. Moving on to the dental renewal, the fixed cost piece of it, the dental and vision plans are also self-funded. The fixed cost portion of it is under rate guarantee. So there is no increase to fixed cost. We just trend the claims forward 5%. Those claims, dental claims, are expected to go up a little bit, which brings the overall dollar difference to the county to $26,572. Again, proposing no change to employee deductions. Similar to dental, we did the vision the same way and applied the same methodology here. So fixed cost, under rate guarantee, no increase there. We trended the claims forward by 3%, assuming no change to employee deductions, bringing the total county net annual spend to $30,000, which is an increase of roughly $1,500 over current. Moving on to the basic life and AD&D, which is provided by the county to employees at no cost to them. It was made clear to us that in light of the savings and the plans performing very well, the chairman and leadership teams and HR, they made it clear that they wanted to pour these savings back into employees. So for this reason, we have illustrated here a proposal to actually increase the basic life and AD&D benefit from $25,000 to $50,000, which will be paid to beneficiaries in the event of a death. And that is reflective of an increase here of $34,000 to the county.
In other words, we checked to see, I thought $25,000 life insurance was awfully low when we lost one of our employees this past year. And even though it was accidental, they got $50,000 in life insurance. The maximum we can go to before we start having to charge an employee for the premium tax is $50,000. And it's going to cost us $34,000 to double the life insurance on all our employees. And since we're saving, it's up to 2.5 million now.
Right.
Instead of 2.3 was the number I quoted. This is phenomenal, people. I mean, this is huge. And the employees, I like to look after them too, as well as this board. So that's what we're talking about for this $33,977 increase, is doubling the life insurance. And hopefully nobody never collects it. But when it does happen, it comes in handy for the families.
And so the last slide I have here is just an overall overview of our recommendations. So you see here where we have the current health plan spend at $11.9 million, $12 million roughly, and we are proposing that the county renew with Anthem and Veracity, and then Anthem for the stop-loss piece of it at $12 million. Dental, again, proposing that we renew with Anthem, going to $443,000. The vision renewing with Anthem, increasing to that $30,000, and then the basic life AD&D, which does account for that increased benefit from 25 to 50, bringing that overall cost to $66,000, which brings the grand total county annual spend to $12,446.
12 million.
Yes.
You said thousand.
Oh, I'm sorry. If only, right? At 12 million.
Yeah.
And that is an overall decrease of roughly $16,000. So, it's not every day, especially in the climate that we live now, where we see plans performing exceptionally well, with a decrease like this. But again, that's just indicative of the changes that have been made. Change isn't easy, so hats off to everyone for making those changes and really making this possible.
Well, I've only been here 3 years and 4 months, and this has increased every year. And through this work, hats off to HR, hats off to the county employees, hats off to MSI. We've added employees, still saving $15,759 over last year, and doubled our life insurance. This is kudos.
It's the first time, it's
I
the
hope
first
the
time I've
board
seen
passes
this.
this, don't you, John?
I do too. I'm speaking in favor and would recommend that you do that. In over 20 years, this is the first time I've actually seen a healthcare insurance program decrease, attributed to 2 things: the health clinic, the support of the health clinic by the staff in participating, and our partnership with MSI benefits, because the strategy that was used to shop the product, but also use that savings to go back and negotiate with our current holder. One of the things that's real important about saying with Anthem and it going across the board is that all of these programs intertwine and interconnect so that it automatically happens, and there's a lot less paperwork and a lot less administrative problems that pop up. So the employee gets a better product, and it becomes so much more efficient and seamless in the operation.
Does the board have any questions?
Great.
Very good explanation, and very proud of this. I entertain a motion to do this renewal, benefit renewal, please.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimous. Thanks so much for all the hard work on this. All right, we have a contract with GDOT, Georgia DOT, the Azor Church Road. We were able to get a red light through GDOT's fast response after we had a terrible death up there, and now they're engineered and ready to do the roundabout there. And we have to sign a contract and pay for relocating the utilities and stuff. It's over $1 million we've got to pay to do that, but it's recommended that we do this and go ahead and get this intersection going ASAP. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'll be glad to make that motion. Much needed.
Bo Warren. Second. And second from, all right, any questions from the board? Subject to our attorney's review, and which is a GDOT thing, there's not much you can do with them, but, okay, very good. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimous. Appointments, District 4, that would be you, Mr. Bradford. You got a vacancy in the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yes, sir. I'd like to appoint Michelle Trammell.
Okay. Any questions or a second?
What was his name again?
Michelle
Trammell.
Trammell.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll
That's a
second.
motion from Commissioner Bradford.
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Dixon. And now, any questions? She might be kin to my wife. Was a Trammell family. Yeah.
So,
All
just
right.
to make notice, so our previous appointee, he's taking a job that's out of town and keeps him out of town. He's, I think, working out of the Milledgeville office now.
Didn't he
so-
write a resignation?
He did. He did send in a resignation. He called me and let me know and sent it in. But so this isn't, it's just, it was a hardship on who was serving on it at the time to be able to be there and make it in time. So.
Okay. All right, call the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimous. All right, John Ward.
All right, I'm going to do this as fast as I can. Just want to recognize Wiley Wilson, Paramedic of the Year, and Bob Seabolt, EMT of the Year for Walton EMS. They both have 56 years of service to the Walton County combined. I'm under Parks and Rec. I don't know if you've been out there, but Hard Labor Creek, the boat ramp's been busy. Collected over 16,000 in permits so far this year, and facility rentals have brought across the county and brought in over 20,000. In water, we now have 17,776 customers. Usage is rising, and just want to remind everybody that as we hit the hot months, when it starts raining less, to promote conservation and just be mindful of your usage. Recycling and keep Walton beautiful. Tire amnesty was a success. 3,659 tires were collected, and the disposal fees will be funded by a state EPD grant. We also had in May over 300 students touring the recycling facility. In HR, the clinic usage continues to be very strong, so strong that an additional provider will be added in May to assist Karen with the high volume of visits. One of the really important things that we've been working on is that we have both scheduled visits and walk-ins. And anytime, it's been our goal that anytime anybody's sick enough that they think they need to visit immediately, they're not turned away. And Karen has done a phenomenal job of that. But there's only so much one person can do. And with our participation being up over 90% now, it's time to add a new provider and continue that success with those cost savings that we've already got. The Assistant HR Director, she will be graduating from the UGA Certified Public Manager Program. I'd like to congratulate her. Animal control, we had a higher intake this last month due to a cruelty case. Impounded 27 cats, 12 dogs, and a snake. Also had a drug case where we got 4 dogs. But the success of all that is they transferred 32 cats, 58 dogs to rescue agencies. We adopted 14 cats, adopted 24 dogs, and 2 cats and 16 dogs were returned to their owner. If you look at the trend in animal control, since the Humane Society opened and with some adjustments that have been done, you're seeing a decrease in the euthanasia rate in the Walton County Animal Control. So that's another success story you should be proud of. Elections, advanced voting began on April 29th and continues through May 17th. Saturday voting was May 4th, and it'll be again on the 11th, with Election Day being May 21st. There are currently 80,303 registered voters as of April 30th, 2024. EMA, just want to congratulate EMA staff on bringing in $25,130 in an EMA grant that funds salaries. That's actually an increase over last year for the same type grant. And then in fire, I want to congratulate all the recent graduates of the Hazardous Material Technician course at the Georgia Utility Training Academy. And finally, let me see, there's one more thing. Oh, Drew Hudson, Sheriff's Office, Amber Daly in the DA's office, and Melissa Rusk, our HR Department Director. Want to congratulate them for all graduating Leadership Walton through the Chamber of Commerce. And finally, from the Sheriff's Office, want to say happy retirement to Tammy Kirk. She had her retirement party today, and she's retiring as the finance manager at the Sheriff's Office with over 20 years of service to Walton County. That concludes my report tonight.
All right, thank you, John.
What'd they do with the snake?
I think it's still in the director's office.
All right, any other questions on John's report? We have, is Ryan Eagleson here? Please come forward. He's got public comment to make to us, and welcome.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for coming after our discussion out at the Grove.
I decided to just read it just so I could, save some time and keep it efficient for you guys. Thanks so much for giving me a few minutes of your time. My name is Ryan Eagleson. I'm the president of the Walton County Disc Golf Club. We are a registered nonprofit here in Walton County with the sole purpose of growing the sport of disc golf within our Walton community. I know that disc golf is a niche sport, but it's one of the fastest growing sports in the United States. Because it is a newer sport, it's unknown to many. I just wanted to spend a few minutes and speak on what is currently going on, within the disc golf community, specifically here in Walton County. Roughly 7 months ago, Heritage Pines Disc Golf Course was opened at Ayers Park in between. The opening of the course has been met with extremely positive reviews and turnout. The course has very quickly grown to be one of the most popular courses in the metro area. The course sees hundreds of visitors every week and is quickly maturing into one of the state's top courses. We truly have something special here on our hands, and I just wanted to make sure y'all were aware of that. Just this last Sunday, we had a tournament. It included over 108 different players from all over the state, even a couple from out of state. But thankfully, the winners did come here. Most of the winners came from right here in Walton. The course has been created with the partnership of the club and the Walton County Parks and Recreation, and is one worthy of driving good distances to, bringing in many non-residents into our county and enjoying the things that we have built and created. The club members and local disc golf community have quickly rallied around the course in a huge way, with many volunteers helping to mold the course into what it has become and the vision we continue to have for its further improvement. Benches have been built, tee pads have been poured, fairways have been cleared and cleaned. Heritage Pines is something that our club members take great pride in and something that we are dedicated to make as nice as possible for all that get to enjoy playing here. Working with Mr. Jody Johnson and the entire Parks and Recreation team has been a very rewarding experience. Anytime we have a need, he is always very communicative and willing, and that makes my role in growing disc golf here in the county so much easier. I can't thank Mr. Johnson enough for his effort and willingness to help us create such a special place in those rows of pines. I cannot wait to see where we can go from here and look forward to the opportunity to continue to work with the county government to not only grow the sport I love, but to bring the light to the great county I call home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I almost was a villain to your disc golf.
It wasn't me.
I was looking at that tract of land and the planted pines. They need thinning, and I was going to make the place safer. I did not know we had disc golf there, so I got called out real quick. Do not cut those trees and do not ruin our disc golf.
We really appreciate it.
But we need to discuss some sort of thinning to make it safer back down in there this day and time, or some sort of emergency call boxes back down in those woods. They are bad actors out there, and that's one of my concerns, public safety on county property. And we'll work on that, hopefully, in the future. But I'm glad 118 participants?
108, yes, sir.
108. That's wonderful.
That's a very good turnout for that level of event, yep.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jody, thank you. Anything else that needs to be brought to light by any of the commissioners?
One quick question. John,
Yes, sir.
Where we at, John, on the HOA and the detention ponds?
Thank you. We've completed research. We're going to be making a recommendation moving forward. I would anticipate that would end up coming up in as early as June, if we can get that worked out through the attorney's office. If not, June, July.
Okay.
So that we can be ready to go beginning budget year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. I meant to add that to my report.
He's got some good help. He should be ready in June. Isn't that right, Mr. Herron?
All right, any other questions? Any other comment?
One more question. How are we tracking on the cameras over at Felker Park? I noticed we had some vandalism over there this past weekend. And with some of the stuff, and they said that the cameras weren't clear and so forth to be able to catch somebody. How are we tracking with the new cameras?
Well, Hank is not here tonight, and he's the one that, with facilities, that can answer that question. I know that we approved the ones in Felker. With this new system under the public safety complex, it's been decided we're going to upgrade all our cameras to the new system. So one central location can look at Felker Park, can look at Meridian Park, can look at Walnut Grove Park, can look at Hammond Drive Courthouse, this historic courthouse. Everything needs to be on one system, and we're working toward that and updating cameras all to the same. I know that's in the work, but where we're at, I don't know.
Jody, you have any update on Felker?
Thank you, Jody.
Yeah, that vandalism was unfortunate. It occurred roughly at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I had vandalism in my office.
You did?
We got a wild squirrel. Y'all are lucky here. I come in this morning, and there's a pile of shavings that high at my desk where he's gnawing on my desk. He found my peanut stash. And, yeah, vandalism is happening. everywhere. All right, anything else? We get to close early tonight. Entertain a motion to adjourn. There is no executive session needed. Got a motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Got a second?
We have one question real quick.
I know we had a tragic accident at HD 8th and 78 last weekend, and I know there's been improvements for that intersection in the works with DOT for a while, but can we just get a quick update on what we're looking at there?
John's been instrumental in that. He and I met that Monday morning before it was good 8 o'clock time, and yeah, 2 people got killed. And Monday, he shot emails to our legislators and elected officials, copied DOT, and by 1 o'clock Monday afternoon, DOT agreed to permit, furnish a light, install light. We were having difficulty with DOT. We'd already started working on this intersection on the county side. DOT said they'd give us a light and nothing else. We'd have to install it, and we'd have to. Now DOT's going to take a lead. And
The county improvements on that side, there will be a discontinuation of HD 8th at the intersection of Youth Monroe. There will be improvements at HD 8th Sardis Church, and there will be improvements at Sardis Church. It'll be more of a right angle at Sardis Church and Youth Monroe. The precision planning is updating an old plan that had never been implemented, but it had been looked at in the past, so we're updating that and moving forward. We do believe that Walton County Public Works will be able to self-perform the most immediate needs, and that will trigger and allow DOT to move forward with the light. But we do have plans on doing that in the coming months and doing it quickly.
Thank you for that update.
all right, anything else? Since we're talking about this, we got a motion. We got a second. Before I call the vote, we had made an application for a decel lane on Bradley Ginn and Highway 78 2 years, 3 months ago under the DOT's fast response. Last week, we also got approval of our fast response decel lane at Bradley Ginn and Highway 78. It only took 2 years and 3 months, but should be complete by November the 7th. They're bidding it out right now. All right. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Oppose? We are adjourned.
Yeah, I did.